I grew up in a very small town. My father died when I was 7. He was a teacher. He supported the teachers union, so he got killed because of that. We moved here in 1980 during the Civil War in El Salvador. My dad, he passed away in 71. There were already things that were happening, but it got worse towards the 80s. They were threatening and killing teachers. A lot of my mom's friends that were teachers got killed. And my mom got a letter saying that if she didn't leave the country, then either they were going to kill her or one of us. So my mom decided to move here to the US. We asked for visas and they wouldn't give us visas. We started the trip towards the US without even knowing if we will get asylum. So we came to the border to Tijuana. We waited to the nighttime and we went through the border. I guess we went around where the checkpoint was. And so we walked, I think, for a couple of hours during the night. I don't think it was really hard for us because we didn't walk a long way. And then they took us to LA where my uncle that was living here, he was waiting for us. And that was happy. That was the happiest, I guess, that we have been because we left El Salvador in June and we got here September maybe. So it was a long trip. It was hard. My mom promised us that it would be only for a couple of years because she never thought that the war was going to be that long. It took 10 years. One day, the missionaries knocked on our door. Can you believe that? So we didn't really want to listen to them. We were really Catholic and they always thought about the Trinity. I couldn't understand it. When the missionaries told me that there were 3 different personages, it was like a bright light, like in my mind. It's like, yes, that's what it is. That it makes sense. And I remember that was the first thing that shocked me. I remember when the missionaries invited us to be baptized. My mom and my brother, they quickly said yes. My sister and I, we were the only ones who didn't say yes at first. But then the missionaries showed us the film of the first vision. And at the end, there's the image of Joseph Smith coming out of the sacred grove, and he says, "I couldn't deny what I've seen, and I couldn't because God knew, and I couldn't deny it." And I remember my sister and I, we were bawling, we were crying, and that night we decided that we were going to be baptized because we knew that what we have learned, we couldn't put it behind us. So that's when we got baptized. So we got baptized December 16, 1980, the same year that we came here. And I always thought that that was the reason why we came here. I think in El Salvador, it's a lot easier to be a member of the church because you don't have distractions. The church is your whole life. The gospel is the same, but the way you live the gospel, it's what's different. Because I remember when I was single, after school, if I had time, I would go to the church. That was the hangout place. We knew all of our friends were there, and even non-members of the church, because the the church is the only church that has basketball courts. So the non-members will go to the bishop's house and ask to open the church so they can go play. So it was the place to hang out. And it was easy even to keep the Sabbath day holy. It was just easier. Saturday you prepare for Sunday and you're not distracted, and that's, I mean, it's in your mind all the time. And when we came here for David, it was a shock. I had already been a member here, but for David it was really hard. Oh my goodness, it was completely different to what we were used to. The kids were disrespectful, and we couldn't understand if our youth, I mean, in El Salvador, these kids are happy to come to church, you know, and they had to be dragged sometimes to go to church. We went to the English word, and oh my goodness, that's another completely different story, because they're private, and then I think it's culture, because Hispanics were more friendly, and we're more we visit each other and we don't have to call to go and visit. And with the English word, that it was also a shock. I love being an English word, um, because it is different. The youth, they're really spiritual, and I see that in my English word, my word that I go right now.